So I've got a friend of mine, he runs a sales promotions agency. This is what he does. Like when he first started, he was one of those guys who would go from building to building, door to door, selling something. It would be a mug, it would be a toy, it would be a pen. He would get stuff from manufacturers, then he'd go and sell it. And if you have ever done any promotion, you know how hard that is. I mean, think about yourself. When you're walking through the mall and somebody stops you and says, "Can I get you to try a sample of this perfume?" What's the first thing you think? No, I'm here shopping. I'm not here to try a sample of your perfume. But he tells this really interesting story about how he's built this incredible sales business. And he talks about the law of averages. And his take on the law of averages is of every 10 people he talks to, 9 are going to say no, 1's going to say yes. It's one thing to hear it, right? Like when somebody says, well, you talk to 10 people, 9 are going to say no, one is going to say yes. The hard thing to do is not to lose your enthusiasm when you're 6 people in. You meet one person, say, "Hey, can I get you to buy my cup of coffee?" They go, "No." Next person, "Hey, can I get you to try my cup of coffee?" They go, "No." Third thing, "Hey, you want to try my cup of coffee?" No. By the fourth, you're like, "I've got a cup of coffee, want to try it?" Because what happens to a lot of us human beings is the more you do something and the feedback is negative, your enthusiasm wanes, your attitude wanes. And so his whole thing is when you're out on the field selling, your job isn't actually to sell the product, it's to regulate your attitude. It's to regulate your enthusiasm. He says, if you can manage your attitude and regulate your enthusiasm, sooner or later, somebody's going to buy the product. The hard thing to do is to move from customer A to customer B to customer C to customer D, hear no from all of them and not lose your enthusiasm. But how do you keep a positive attitude? He says, well, it's about understanding the law of averages, 1 in 10. I said, yeah, it sounds fine, but when I'm at 6 people in, I don't feel like talking to the 7th person. He says, what about when you're at 16 people in and all of them have said no? I said, but you just said it's the law of averages, 1 in 10. He says, it is 1 in 10, but it's not 1 in every 10. So I said, how did you do it? He says, I've had days where I've gone an entire day without selling a single thing. Guys, I want you to picture this. You arrive at an office park, you talk nicely to the security guard to let you in. You go to building A, and in building A, there's 8 companies. You walk to the door of company 1. When you walk into the door of company 1, you knock, and the receptionist lets you in, and you go to the receptionist to say, "Hi, my name is Vusitebego. I come from Hello Family. I'm selling this cup. Can I talk to some of your people to see if they want to buy a cup?" And the person says, "Oh, no, not interested. We don't allow promoters here." Then you leave, and you go right next door to company 2. They let you in. "Hi, my name is Vusi. I'm from Hello Family. I sell this cup. Do you want to?" No, we're not interested. And you leave, and you go next door. 10 companies on the first floor. 5 floors, that's 50 companies. And they all say no. How do you not lose your enthusiasm by the time you're on the 3rd floor? And by the time you get to the 3rd floor, the people on the 2nd floor have phoned the people on the 3rd floor to tell them you're coming. The people on the 3rd floor have phoned the people in the next building to tell them you're coming. So now they've built a resistance to you. In fact, when you're knocking at the door, they go, no, we're not interested. No hawking. Don't come in. No hawking. How do you not lose your enthusiasm? Here's what he says to me, and it blew my mind away. He says what he realizes is that the law of averages is true. So if your no's compound, guess what happens? Your yeses are compounding too. So he said he's had days where in a week, he'll go 2 or 3 days of knocking door after door, company after company, person after person, and hearing no's. Then one day, every single door he knocks, people say yes. I said, explain that. Is it like voodoo? What is it? He says, it's just the law of averages. So I think one of the things a lot of us need to learn is that the law of averages is real. And admittedly, some of us make it look easy, right? Like, but of every 5 emails I send out, something like 3 of the 5 will respond in the negative. It happens. And of the 2 that respond in the affirmative, it's not as if immediately when they respond in the affirmative, the business is going to come. There's still work to be done. So the first thing is you need to understand the law of averages. A lot of us don't understand the law of averages, and you've got to regulate your attitude as you're approaching that law of averages. A lot of people don't understand this, but you've got to be able to do that.